Leta Brooks Hayes is a podcaster with a very good podcast. She's founder of Status Life with Leta, a platform created to improve lives using your own journey as the catalyst. Leta believes vulnerability is difficult for most people, and yet it's our greatest strength. She helps others to stop living from a place of fear and instead to create meaningful connections and truly design a life they love. In her spare time, she donates kidneys. She really did donate a kidney. And this, it says she loves to run the trails at North Oconee, but she also climbed a volcano in Guatemala, and she's gonna climb a mountain in Africa, right? Kilimanjaro? Okay. She also loves her Bible study. She loves grabbing dinner at Hidda Souls in Watkinsville. She has loved being a part of the Rise and Shine community, and she realized she was horrible at time management, but she's getting better. She's also known for bringing her 4 ferrets on the camera on Zoom calls. And did you know that if you have more than 1 ferret, it's called a business? So she's actually got a ferret business. Yes. Her favorite call is the Wednesday Zoom at noon power hour work sprints because they keep her accountable. Today, Leta's talking about knowing your personal and business values. So get ready to be inspired as she takes the stage.
My husband likes to say that ferret business is the only one that doesn't make us any money. They don't. They're expensive little buggers. And if anyone in this room has a ferret, please see me, because I would love a ferret friend, okay? No one has them in this county, I don't know, except for me. Yeah. All right, we're going to dig into our values. So whether you own your own business, did own your own business, work for someone else, want to start a business, every one of you in this room, I want you to answer this question, and I want to see a show of hands about it. How many of you take calls and check emails when it's not business hours? Correct. Yeah. What about on vacation? You're supposed to be unplugged. Yep, a lot of hands going up. I know it. All right, I want to read a bio, not the one that Hope just read, but a bio of mine that was written a couple of years ago before I took the stage at another women's conference. Leta Brooks Hayes is a practicing interior designer with over 20 years in the business. She opened a firm, Status Design Studio, in 2008, and the firm is still going strong today. Leta has completed design jobs up and down the East Coast. Many of the beautiful homes you see on A1A from Jacksonville to Daytona Beach have Leta's stamp on them. Most recently, she took on the Traditions of Brazelton Country Club, renovating their golf clubhouse, restaurant, and added a brand new restaurant to the property. Back in 2015, Leta moved into retail to help more people with their spaces. She opened Status Home Design in Dacula, Georgia. She rebranded it into the Shops at Status in 2019 with 70 vendors inside, a large DIY classroom, seamstress, and full interior design studio. Leta expanded her retail enterprise by also opening a small boutique store in Watkinsville, Georgia, called the Status Market. If that wasn't enough, Leta is also the star of the hit podcast Status Life with Leta, reaching over 10 million downloads in 3 short seasons. Leta engages her audience with her honesty, captivating stories, and her talent for teaching. Status Life with Leta is a lifestyle podcast which focuses on everything you need to know to enhance your life, your health, and your home. She has branded the hashtag Design Your Life and has made it her mission to help women do exactly that. Whether it's your home, your career, or your relationships, or even your children, Leta uses her life experiences and also finds the experts to help us all design a life we love. That is a mouthful, and that is the point that I wanted to read it. That is 3 paragraphs that at one time encompassed every single thing that was on my plate. My career was taking off by leaps and bounds. The projects were getting bigger and bigger. The store was getting busier and busier. I had moved to Oconee County, always wanted a second location, just thought, more is better. Let's just keep adding. I'm gonna add another store. So I put a little store in that old house, some of you may know it, right across the street from Oconee State Bank. 2 stores, one store open 7 days a week, one store open 5 days a week, all with me at the forefront. What's not in the bio is I'm a mom, I have a son and a daughter, and when that bio was written, they were in elementary school. I was also a single mom, so the hustle originally began trying to provide for them. I really thought a lot, almost every day I would say, that my kids are going to appreciate this. One day they'll understand. One day they'll understand how hard their mom worked for them, all that I've accomplished. Because it was almost every day that they ate fast food, had no clean laundry, and had a nanny standing at the bus stop instead of me. At my store, Status, we hosted monthly events. They were called Status Super Saturday, and they were huge, and they were extremely profitable. So this wasn't something I wanted to give up. With an event being on a Saturday, on a Friday night, I would be at the store with my kids in tow till almost midnight. Again, they would be eating a bag of fast food, exhausted, staring at their tablets. Saturday sports were usually attended by anyone that knew and loved my children, rarely me. I could sneak out of work here and there to go to wherever they needed to be, but it was very rare. One Saturday, specifically, I get choked up when I think about it because this was probably the biggest mom guilt gut punch, but it was a huge realization. My daughter was cheering, and another mom looked at a friend of mine and said, "Where's Elisa's mom? I never see her." And she was right. I was always at work between one of my stores. When you're an owner and someone calls out sick, or you're short-staffed, or there's an event, you have to be there. And your kids cheer, and they have sports and golf, and you can't be at 2 places in one time. So the reality was, I was completely exhausted. I had this great bio and I had this great career, but my home life was suffering. I couldn't keep up with all the demands of all the different businesses. Part of me thought, I love stress. I used to say this to people when they would ask, how do you do it all? Oh, I love it. I love stress. And in true transparency, I do love a deadline. I think that forces us, can be very healthy to get something done. But what had happened was I had 10 deadlines and I couldn't meet any of the demands. I remember crying to my now husband, I feel like I'm a hamster on a wheel and I can't get off. And that analogy was very real. So my retail store, Shops at Status, lost its commercial lease in 2022. Unfortunately, the landlord raised the rent to an unattainable price. At the time, I was devastated, probably went into a little mini depression, that I would call it, but it ended up being the biggest blessing in my life. Some of you may realize or remember that the Status market in April of 2022 had a fire. It was in the news. That was my store, and we lost everything. So I went from these 2 massive retail undertakings to, in 3 short months, none. Also lost the interior design firm. It was in the Status market. All my samples, everything I had worked since 2008 to build was gone in one fell swoop. But it was the best thing that could have ever happened. And you couldn't have told me that in that moment. But what I realized in all of this, in building it back, I was in burnout, and I didn't even know what burnout was. It takes you to come out of it to realize that you're in it. I never, ever, in all of those years, in all of that huge career, I never clarified my values. I knew what I wanted Status to be, but I never discussed it and I never wrote it down. I had this great culture, this great staff, 70 vendors. I was the leader, but I never clarified where we were going and why we were going there. So the guilt from everything that I missed with my kids, it does still eat at me today. I know they're proud of me, but I also know they would rather have me sitting on the couch, snuggling with them, eating popcorn and watching a movie, as opposed to putting that movie on so I can check 100 emails. I did heal from burnout, and I did say, I didn't realize that I was in it, but when you start feeling the sadness and the depression and realizing when things come off your plate, how great everything feels, I put the pieces back together. But this time, I started with my values. So we're gonna dig in. We're gonna start working on all of your personal values, and then we're gonna translate that into your business. So if you'll look at the worksheet, that is my page, Status Life. I want to put all of us on the same page about what our values are. So we're going to start with the basic, true definition of values. A person's principles or standards of behavior, one's judgment of what is important in life. That to me is everything. What is important in life? Values are individual beliefs that motivate people to act one way or another. They serve as a guide for human behavior. I want you to all start thinking about your values. I'm going to read the list aloud. Follow along. I want every word that resonates with you, I want you to circle those words. We're going to whittle this list down to the top 5. So circle as many words as you want. Authenticity, achievement, adventure, authority, autonomy, balance, beauty, boldness, boundaries, compassion, challenge, citizenship, community, competency, contribution, creativity, curiosity, determination, fairness, faith, fame, friendships, fun, growth, happiness, honesty, humor, influence, inner harmony, justice, kindness, knowledge, leadership, learning, love, loyalty, meaningful work, openness, optimism, peace, pleasure, poise, popularity, recognition, religion, reputation, respect, responsibility, security, self-respect, service, spirituality, stability, success, status, trustworthiness, wealth, and wisdom. And if there was a few extra words that I read you don't have, I sent my sheet in before I finished writing my speech. So you just add those words in. If there's any word that really resonates with you, one of your favorite words, add it. This list is a guideline where we're going to start pulling together in black and white what our personal values are. Review the list. I want you to take the 5 words of all the words that you circled, and I want you to write those 5 words under your personal values. And we are going to whittle it down again. So take a second, transfer the 5 words that mean the most to you. Going back to that definition, what is important in your life? While you're transferring those words, I'm going to tell you that my words are authenticity, faith, love, adventure, and meaningful work. When that crazy bio was written, it's not that those words, those 5 words that make up my personal value now, it's not that those words weren't a part of me, it's that other words, other values had taken the forefront. Success, achievement, recognition, and reputation. Somehow, and there's nothing wrong with those words, but all of those words put together became more important than faith, meaningful work, authenticity, and I would absolutely add family to my list. What changed? I said it before, it all got stripped away. I went down to nothing on my calendar except my kids' activities, and I built from there. But this time, I built it with my values at the forefront. I want you to take those 5 words that make up your personal values, and I want you to narrow it down even further to the top 3. And I want you to move those top 3 words to your business value column. And even if it's not a word that's on there, but it means something to your business. Now, if you work for someone else and you're here and you're an employee, I still want you to attack this the same way, because I want you to take a hard look at the company that you're with and make sure that those business values line up with your values. Nothing could be more important than that. If this is where you're going to spend your time and you're going to be away from your family, the values should be exactly the same. Those 3 words, if you're building a business, reframing a business, those 3 words should be inside your mission statement. And we don't have time today to go through a whole mission statement writing seminar. That is what Amy Whipple and the Rise and Shine Mastermind is for. She makes you do that almost on a weekly basis, but this will give you a good start. I want to tell you one quick story, and in my new fun bio, yes, I'm a kidney donor. I ended up in Guatemala in December with the kidney donor athletes climbing. We did a 3 volcano challenge, and I was on a bus and I was chatting with this gentleman, and you do the pleasantries. What do you do? What do you do? And in his little elevator pitch to me, he said, well, I just changed jobs. Okay, why'd you do that? And he said, the company I was with, their values didn't line up with mine. He said, I just took a pay cut to be at a company where their values are exactly how I want to live my life. His daughter is currently, she's 20 years old and she's battling cancer, and he's realizing life is really short. So while supporting a family, he took a pay cut and leads with the fact that this new company and their values mean more to him than being at a company whose values didn't align. And I thought that was everything. And I thought, and that's where it is. Your business, the way you present yourself, the way you spend your time, the way you are with your family, it all stems from our values. I want to close, and I want to tell you how changing my values has changed what I'm doing now. I completely scrapped my old interior design blog, and I found a new focus in health and wellness. I'm beginning season 5 of my podcast this Friday. I'm radio station sponsored, so I'm on the Business Radio X platform. I'm doing a deep dive. I'm calling it a 365-day deep dive, where for this entire year, I have to say yes to everything that very organically comes to me that hits in one of my 5 values. Hence why I'm on this stage right now, because meaningful work is a value, and when I was asked to speak, I'm here. I'm also heading to Kilimanjaro. I had to say yes, so I'm going to Africa in 45 days to summit Kilimanjaro on World Kidney Day. I'm a huge advocate for kidney donors. Clearly, I've been through the process, saved my dad's life. I've begun to cook for my family almost every night, no more fast food, and we sit down together multiple times a week. I get them after school, and I make sure I'm at every event that they participate in. My whole career, family, even my marriage, everything has changed by leading with my values. Thank you.